minutes we had out. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can still put that at the end.
Okay, I can do that too.
And be like bonus. All right. So welcome everybody to a new episode of Attack of the Blerd. We're like all visual now, not just audio. So of course I'm Diam, and I'm joined by my faithful companion, Tahula Sitsana.
Yes.
So you finally got to actually see the entire Justice League film, right?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Like, I actually went later on that night and ended up watching the movie. Right. And I can tell you, I actually loved it. I truly did. It was good. It was, and then also I'm glad that, we did talk about it a little bit, because some of the key points that you and the gameologists were making, when I went back and I watched it, I was like, oh no, those things were in there. Like, one of the things that stood out was, how when Aquaman's kind of just, giving his little spill in front of all the members and everything, and he looked like he's about to cry. Well, if you weren't laughing too much, because I was cracking up laughing, you noticed that Wonder Woman had her lasso of truth around his ankle.
Yeah.
Just spilling it all the way out, and then that's why he got so mad. I was just like, yep.
One of the best part of the films, in my opinion, one of the best part of the films. Like, it's good. It was brilliant to see Wonder Woman be cynical too, and she was like, I thought it was beautiful. Like, really? You're going to be an asshole on top of it? Good job, Diana. Good job.
Yes. And also, I really liked Batman and Wonder Woman's kind of, like, you could tell that they were more like partners instead of kind of at each other. They had the same vision. Another thing I really kind of enjoyed is his words to her really just made her come out to be, okay, well, I guess I do have to come out in the public eye, because I can, from a female perspective, I know a lot of times us as women, we do so much that sometimes we just kind of don't think that we should always be out there in the limelight, and, you just do what you do and then you keep moving. But, you never know sometimes how inspirational you can actually be to somebody. Actually do it. So that you need that little push. And
and speaking of push, one of my favorite other part is when Bruce is talking all this shit, and then she just gives him a tiny little punch, and he just like, it was just like, don't forget who you're talking to.
Right.
It was a brilliant moment. It was a really good moment, and it was funny. It was very good. So now that you've seen the entire film, right? Who's your favorite character out of the whole Justice League?
Okay. That's kind of hard to say, because obviously I love Wonder Woman. I've loved Wonder Woman since I was a child.
Of course, she's Wonder Woman right now is the Steph Curry of DC. All right, she steps in the field, she shoots, she hits every single time. She's the MVP right now.
Very true. I do love what they're doing with Aquaman, because I'm so glad that that they really focused on him being a man instead of just like some little wimpy character in the background, kind of doing a little bit here and there. Like, you get to see his personality.
I didn't like the dialogue about the fish though. Like, Bruce Wayne was like, I hear you can talk to fish.
Yeah.
And then he goes like, I'm like, dude, what the? No. I don't know. That part was very corny to me, but I guess it's a DC movie. It's a superhero film. They gotta have some corny ass shit in there. So I guess
well, look at it this way. Like, if you think about like stereotypes, okay? Right. Think about all the crap people say based off somebody's stereotype. Like, I know I get a whole bunch of crap because I have dark skin. And then also I get crap when I'm a lady. So if somebody doesn't know, like, he didn't really know he was like a man that dressed up like a bat.
Look.
It's like, so man, that was bat, really bat costume? Like, okay.
That was when he was like, just like a bat, huh?
Yep.
But it was good. One of the shining heroes for me. But go ahead. Tell me who was your favorite. Okay, favorite overall would have to be Wonder Woman. Then it's a tight close between Flash and Aquaman. And the reason why I say Flash is because
even though his costume was okay, I didn't really care too much for this kind of thing.
Right?
But I love the lightning because, okay, so, you know, just going back to engineering and how current flows. Like, if you have, like, a high impact of things, you are going to generate some kind of electricity, some way, some form. So, thinking about how fast he theoretically goes, it makes sense to me, nerd mind, okay?
Yeah, there's okay. But yeah, like, hold on, I'm gonna cut you off because I gotta talk about the run.
Yeah.
Like, that was my one thing about this film that I was like, why did it? Because you have to know that this was a decision made, right? A conscious decision made for him to run this way. I don't know what's the science behind it, right? But visually, it leaves a lot to be desired. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. I don't know if they just needed him to lower down a little bit. Because, like, I mean, even when you see, like, Olympic runners, sometimes they really push into it. But he seemed like he was standing straight up, just, you know, going kind of like...
You know what he reminds me of, you know, during the Olympic Games, you know, the guys that do, like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like they're doing a race, but on ice skating. They're ice skating, but for racing.
The speed skating thing.
Yeah, it reminds me of that when they first start, because they have to gain the speed, you know what I'm saying? And then they just have to, like, be as aerodynamic as he can be. So when he starts, it looks like he's trying to gain the speed, you know?
Right.
And that's what he looks like the entire time he's running, which is what bothers me, you know? I just thought it was weird, man. I thought it was weird.
I agree. I mean, it might have been, and I don't know what kind of budget they had, but maybe if they would have just let him go hang out with, like, Usain Bolt for, like, a week, you know?
And do some actual, like, training, some running. I don't know, maybe. But that was, like, my one thing about the movie. I was like, really, guys? Really? So,
well, and, like, with the cyborg thing, like, I loved his lines. I absolutely loved his lines. And
he had the best lines in the film. I have to agree.
Oh, man. And just to see his intelligence is, like, so amazing because, like,
he was the brains of the operations, really. Like, when everything came down, he was the reason why they were able to defeat them. In terms of intelligence, he was the man.
Very true, because even if people are watching DC based off of, like, you know, because we have, like, a younger generation, maybe the only thing they know about Cyborg is Teen Titans, okay? The first
right. A lot of people.
Not the second one.
Right.
He's undertoned in his ability to be so intelligent because everything always goes to Robin, you know? And so I'm so grateful that they actually brought his, you know, whole sense of being there. Plus also, you know, what it made me think, what would you do if, you know, your life was turned upside down and then now you have no sense of identity? Like, how would you respond? Would you be super depressive, or would you be, you know, like, fuck it, I'm gonna blow up everything?
Yeah. And I like that they barely touched on his life, you know, enough for you to, like, see what he was going through. Same thing with Flash. They only showed you a little bit. Even with Aquaman, you only seen just tiny bits of everyone's, you know, like, world. Whose solo movie are you excited about? Because we haven't had his Flash, we haven't had Aquaman, we haven't had Cyborg. So these three, whose solo movie are you hyped about?
Personally, because I'm a Jason Momoa fan, I want to go see Aquaman. I know I'm totally sold, but look, check it though. Like, I'm even trying to go to see him at the Wizards Con in what is it, St. Louis?
You want to see him in person?
Like, oh heck yeah! Oh yeah, I do. Like, seriously, I would love to interview him because, you know, I'm sorry, but, like, even I remember when he was on Baywatch as the little skinny guy. You know,
wait, he was on Baywatch?
He played Jason on Baywatch. Literally, he played himself. Okay?
Whoa.
Like, seriously, I'm like, you know, like how the memes and stuff go about, like, how he literally has been a fish out of water. He really has. Like, he was on Baywatch, Stargate Atlantis. You know,
I remember Atlantis. Like, I remember that.
And then now he's Aquaman. I mean, he's been in a couple other things, but most of them have been based around water or Atlantis of some type. Seriously.
Okay, all right. So he deserved this role 100%. I told, hey, that's good. But yeah, I have to agree with you. I was talking to one of my friends. I ended up watching this movie again with them, and I told him, I said, Aquaman has the potential to be for DC what Black Panther is for Marvel.
Yes.
It has the potential.
Oh,
but
yeah.
are they gonna take that route? Are they gonna take that leap? You know what I'm saying? I would love for us to get to Atlantis and it's just a whole bunch of like Samoans and like, you know, and you're just like, whoa, and then like just people of color, and you can really milk it, you know? I don't know if they're gonna.
I think they will, because like I was seeing some of the pre-screening stuff that they had, and how like almost everybody that's doing anything based around Atlantis, they have to like seriously swim. They're doing the swim tanks and being exposed to the ocean. I mean, they're really putting the actors into that world and environment. So I think that it's going to be super successful.
I was just thinking in terms of cultural significance, it could be one, but I don't know if they're gonna take it that far. You know what I'm saying? I would love for it to be like that, you know, but I don't know. I don't know if DC got the balls, to be honest. That's the real thing.
Well, we'll see. I mean, because, you know, DC typically is kind of like that darker, hits home type of, you know, that's
which I think they overdid, which is one of the reasons why I like this movie, because I felt like the movie started as a Zack Snyder film and ended as a Joss Whedon film, you know?
Very true.
And I like that. I like you can start dark, you can do all of that, but in like the way it ended well. I felt like if Zack Snyder was still on board, it wouldn't went too far. So Joss Whedon was like the balance, you know what I'm saying? Like the counterweight to the darkness, you know? So maybe they should work together. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
And I also think that Ben Affleck should still continue being Batman. I know that's very controversial.
Yeah. Batfleck is the right Batman for these series.
Yeah.
I'm down with Batfleck, you know?
Whoever your haters are, fuck them. Here we said it as Attack of the Blerds. Keep doing it, Affleck. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, they casted the big three. They casted them perfectly. Gal Gadot is an awesome Wonder Woman. Bruce is brilliant as Bruce. And Henry Cavill is Superman. Like,
yeah, he really is Superman.
He is. They're the big three. And speaking of Superman, let's talk about that. One of my favorite part of the movie, which was when evil Superman came back and started whooping ass.
Yes. I mean, the body scan to me, because I mean, some people forget that Superman has all these extra powers besides being able to, you know, freeze you with his breath and laser eyes and being super strong. Like
Which, let's be honest, they just added over the decades. Okay? Like, they added every decade came with a new power. But go ahead.
Yes. And then, I mean, like when he got to Bruce, he's like, I remember you. And his whole eyes and his face changed. Oh, I mean, and you could tell, like, seriously, like, Bruce was good. Like, oh, shit, this is going to be
good. It was going to be evil Superman, man. Justice Lords. He would have killed people.
Yeah. And then, but I really liked, like, honestly, on that whole fight scene, I really enjoyed the headbutt between him and Diana, because like she straight up was like that, and he's like that. And
now let's talk about this, because one of my friends and I, we were talking, and he was saying that in the comics and the cartoon, Diana is supposed to be up there with Superman.
She is.
She's not supposed to be like, let's say Superman is 100, she's supposed to be like 90 or 85. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what he said, because he said, because the countermeasure for Superman going evil is Bruce is the brains, Diana is the muscle. Do you see what I'm saying? Bruce will outsmart him, Diana will match him in strength, or at least come close to it. But in this movie, I feel like they toned down how strong Diana is, because with the villain, she was about the same level as Aquaman. She's supposed to be stronger than Aquaman.
True, but also keep in mind, for years everybody thought Aquaman was so weak. So with him being matched with Diana, it kind of gives them a base. But honestly, I really do think that, and I've always known that not Batman, but Superman and Diana have been the same strength.
Oh, really?
Exactly the same. That's why like they can't kill each other. I mean, they're exactly the same. Like, and they go toe to toe. It is literally a standstill.
I would love for that to be true, but they didn't do this in this movie. In my opinion, they brought Diana down like about 5 notches in her strength. Because, for example, when she did the whole X thing with her joint, right? Mm-hmm. In her own movie, she destroyed that guy and created a big ass canyon in the ground, right? But in this movie, every time she does it, it was minimal damage.
Very true. And I don't know if it's because she didn't really pull back, or because like when I was watching it, it almost just seemed like she was just like clank, not like a full pull in. So it could be just that. And also, I think that she didn't really want to hurt Superman. She knew she could hurt him. She knew. Okay. You know, she kept calling him Kal-El the whole time. You know.
All right.
Yeah. I know I'm trying to defend her.
Diana ain't no punk bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, she ain't no punk bitch. You know, Amazons, they stay ready to whoop a nigga ass. So, like, I was like, she was, you know, after that headbutt scene, I'm like, she should have been whooping his ass. She would have been like, okay, this is enough. I'm going in, you know? But I don't know.
Very true. I mean, she looked pissed. She really did look pissed. And I honestly thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, all hell is about to break loose.
Right.
Like, gloves, I mean, but I don't know. It's DC. We'll see.
Right. Well, okay. Well, you know, okay. I'll just leave it at that and say okay. Movie was definitely good. I said to a few people, I said you gotta like go into the movie with the same expectations as you would into like a Fast and Furious movie.
Yes.
Okay. That it's like that. Like, you're not gonna think too deeply about how they were able to like get a car to go from one building to another building, and that's too much. You go in there, you have fun, there's explosions, people make jokes, yay, done. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's what this Justice League movie was, and they executed that perfectly. You know?
Very true. And then too, like, we don't know what we're gonna get in the side movies as well. I mean, are we going to get honorable mentions to this, or are we going to get like a dream sequence, or what are we going to get in the side movies? You know, like, are they going to step it up in the next?
And you know, I said that to my friends. I was watching it. I was like, the scene in Batman versus Superman where Batman is sleeping and then he has a dream. That's fine, but right after the dream, he sees Flash, right? Mm-hmm. Flat point, Flash that comes in. It's like, it was Lois is the key. That would have been perfectly placed in this movie.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would have made sense. We know who Flash is. We know how, but then for him to see another Flash just opens up a whole nother dimension. You're like, okay, now I see what's happening. But to see Flash in the previous movie made absolutely no sense. You know, in this one, it would have been perfectly placed.
Well, wait a minute. There is a fan theory. Okay.
What's the fan theory?
The theory is that, okay, so if Affleck does exit, all right, that Flash is going to go back in time and change the continuum. And instead of it being Bruce Wayne, it'll be Thomas Wayne.
Thomas?
Yes, his dad. As Batman instead of, I know. I hope DC doesn't go that route, because in my mind that throws the whole franchise off, but it's a fan theory. So, you know, I mean, DC's leaving it open.
I'll believe that fan theory where it is. I won't even touch it.
Okay.
I won't even touch it, because then we're going down a really deep rabbit hole. What I would like to see happen is rather for them to go the next generation over and for us to see Terry McGinnis.
That would be awesome, because I love Batman Beyond, and a lot of people hated on it, but I absolutely adored it. I mean,
Batman Beyond was good.
It was
good. Yo, I would love for them to go the next generation down and to go Terry McGinnis. But right now, did you say in the end and saw the ending sequence?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the very last one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they're gonna go into Legion of Doom now, right?
Yeah.
So that means That means they got to introduce a lot of people now, right?
Yes.
They got to introduce a Wonder Woman's villain.
Mm-hmm.
They got to introduce a villain for which villain of Batman are they going to choose? Well, it looked like they already got Slade. So that's, sorry, not Slade, Deathstroke. So that's Batman's villain. And then we have Lex Luthor for Superman. Yeah, so they haven't introduced the villain for Diana. And Flash hasn't really had any like great villains. His greatest villain is Reverse Flash.
Right.
You know? So I like Reverse Flash. He's a killer. He's a murderer. You know, like he's a legitimate villain for Flash. So I don't know which way they're gonna go. What do you think is gonna happen?
Well, for Aquaman, they're supposed to have Black Mantis as his villain. So that's good. That's good. I don't know. Like, honestly, for Batman, this is what I think. Even though they have Deathstroke, I think Ra's al Ghul should pop in somewhere. Because, you know, he was like the unkillable villain, and I think he needs to pop in somewhere in that.
Okay.
Just to be like, you know, because in my mind, I think with the Legion of Doom, if they're just going to try and tie things together, you know, because they're pulling everything together at the end, they're like, well, maybe we should start a league of our own. But I think Roz will be like, yo, I got a training camp over here. Y'all wanna come and let's build them up, because I think that would be great.
Roz definitely has he brings a level of
professionalism to be the villain.
yeah. That's intense. Okay, I see where you come in. I see. Yeah. It's a good pick.
I mean, because then even still, like, Diana could have her pick of villains. You know,
I haven't really seen good villains for Diana. Who are the good villains for her? Because I'm Hercules, because he's under I didn't notice. He's under the what's the name of their island? The
Olympus?
The Amazons.
Oh, Paradise Island?
Yeah, he's supposed to be under there. I think it was some punishment for something he did, so he's supposed to be lifting it up. So not him, but Chitara is the one I've seen, and honestly, the version of Chitara I liked is when she wasn't a pure like I want to kill you villain, but rather more like a Magneto villain, where it's like we disagree on philosophical levels.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I like that better for her rather than the opposite. But then again, they still got to introduce her. So I don't know. We'll see.
Very true.
We'll see. And then Cyborg.
I don't know. I was trying to think.
Yeah. You know what would be great though is if they introduce he said probably for a third villain. I've always wanted to see them go against Brainiac. I think Brainiac is the type of villain that could do a film, you know. Yeah. He's a virus. It affects everything, you know. He can turn into some gigantic physical entity that they have to fight, you know. But you can't just punch him to death, you know. There's more to Brainiac. It requires a lot of mental exercise as well as physical exercise to take him down. So I think if they do a third, I just want to see a Brainiac film at one point in time. You know what I'm saying?
And that's doable. That's very doable because, like, keep in mind, they still have that alien ship around. And then also with the other mother boxes, like, you just see them rip them apart. You don't see them actually get destroyed. So, and you know, villains have a way of getting stuff. So that could, wow.
They left a lot of doors open. You know, they left a lot of doors open for that. There was one more thing I was thinking of. Wait, there's Brainiac. Justice. Fuck it. I can't remember now. But but yeah, they left a lot of doors open for some villains and for some things to happen. I would have personally wished, this is just me going off here, I would have personally wished that they would have actually went the Netflix route just like Marvel, right? And just pushed some of their lower characters that still have to deal with Justice League Unlimited. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But do you think that maybe Marvel might have a lock on Netflix? Because then
if they do, then go to Hulu.
Right.
You know? They couldn't have done it.
They could have went to Crackle because Crackle.
They could have went to Crackle. Like, I would have loved to see The Question. I would have loved to see a dark detective like series, conspiracy series on the on The Question, and like him gathering information about the boxes, all of that before the movie came out. And as the movie comes out, you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It ties in. And then second season, he pushes to find more people. I mean, anyway, let's not go that far. All I'm saying is,
it's like, hold on, DC, if you guys are watching, take note and credit us at Attack of the Blerds for giving that suggestion.
Ain't gonna credit nobody. Ain't gonna credit nobody.
You never know. We got a big season coming up.
Ain't gonna credit nobody. No. But they should have done that. They should have done that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They should have done that. They could do I mean, there's a lot of things they could get popping off that they like are not doing. They just now did Justice League. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could start a series now that you have Justice League out. You can have a series of another character, you know, that ends up in the long run being like Vixen. You can have, if you're not gonna give Vixen her movie, give her series. Do you see what I'm saying?
I agree.
I would love to see a series of Vixen on Hulu. You know, something, just something. You know, they have a lot of characters. Something you can work with instead of putting them on CW and making them look all corny and campy and shit. Not all your characters are campy. You know what I'm saying? Not all of them are campy. So I don't know. But anyways, that's it. That's all I gotta say. You got anything else you want to add?
Well, I mean, thinking of it from like a general audience perspective too, is business and marketing wise, it's okay. So we've got people that are sold on these type of comics right now and they're watching it. If they have to time it just right. They have to time it right when, like, right now, like, I agree, would be a great time for DC to just start hitting the mainstream really, really hard, because Marvel is coming down just a little bit because they've had their 10-year run, which has been epic. So if they want to pick up the reins for somebody that's not a black and white Marvel versus DC person, for somebody that just enjoys general comics and superhero aspects, it would be great. They would get money. And honestly, the way that, in my opinion, that I've seen a lot of things work is when you have two competitor type businesses like a block away from each other in the same city, both of them still make money. Yeah. They make money because they're getting exposure in that type of field. Now, if you just have one and you have that one group there, if you do bad business or, you know, you may have like a family emergency or whatever it is, then it's just going to go down and leave a bad taste in the mouth for everybody in the community. So yeah, I think that they should launch it and it would be fun. Don't be scared. Just get the rawness out there and just do it. I'll say it before I say it again. I don't think DC got the balls. They don't. Not right now. They don't. They want to play safe. Justice League just came out. They finally got, after B versus S, they got a hit. They're like, let's keep this going. You know, so they're gonna push really hard. I don't know what's the next movie on the slate. I think it's Aquaman. I think their next movie is Aquaman. I think Aquaman as well. If I was them, I would introduce more female characters. I would introduce more characters of color. I would just do those two immediately. Like Hawk Girl, take her off of CW, okay? She's too strong for CW, all right? Like, Hawk Girl is way too strong for CW. Take her off of there. I know you want to introduce some characters of color. Introduce John as Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying? Oh, not Al Jordan. John as Green Lantern. Martian Manhunter. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a few things you could do that could really bring some shit together, you know? Well, aren't we supposed to get a Green Lantern movie, like, in the next year or two? I mean, we're supposed to, yeah, and I think they're going to go with John instead of, John Stewart instead of Hal Jordan, which is good, but I think they can still have Hal Jordan in the movie, just not the current, you know, Green Lantern of Earth. Do you see what I mean? Right. They can still have it. They can have a Green Lantern Corps film, you know? But like I said, either Green Lantern or the Manhunter, the Martian Manhunter will take us off of Earth. Because so far, all of DC's movies have been on Earth. Well, do you see what I mean? Oh my! They just do a lantern movie. Then they'll have to introduce all the colors.
All of them. Oh,
I
want them to. I want them to. But I don't know if they're gonna want to do that.
Well, I mean, in the little like fight sequence, you saw a Green Lantern, and I thought I saw a Blue Lantern. I thought I saw a blue one.
I saw a Green Lantern, and I liked it. I wanted him to be in the film, but there was no Green Lantern in the film. They just showed the ring going off. Mm-hmm. I would have liked for the ending sequence to be the ring reaching someone, and they don't show you who it is. Mm-hmm. But the person opens his hand, and you see the ring in there. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh shit! But they didn't do it. It's okay. I'm not making decisions over there at DC. But I'm just saying,
like also in that same sequence, like I did, like when you were saying that, did you see the Native American goddess? I saw like a bunch of Native Americans running around. So honestly, let's do it.
I was wondering about that.
Yes.
I was like, what is happening
here? Around, like, the release cannot be around freaking Columbus Day or Thanksgiving, because that would be bullshit. Put it someplace else in the whole year. I'm sorry, I'm a little.
I don't think they would do that. I don't. But then again, I'm not gonna put it.
Yeah, I know. You never know people's marketing idea. Right. Let's release it around. No, let's not. Okay, let's put it someplace else in the calendar, not in February.
But I mean, that's not. Is that even deep? Like a character, I think that was a throwaway character for them that they could have done very well was Diablo. Diablo was a throwaway character for them. I went and I got the comic book after Suicide Squad, and he didn't even have his own titular like comic book. It was like Diablo and like Captain Boomerang. And I'm like, you have a lot of stuff with Diablo that you can work with. He's an ex-gang member. He thinks he's being possessed by evil spirit, when actually it's a freaking Aztec deity. Do you see what I'm saying? There's just a lot of shit you can work with Diablo. But it was a throwaway character for him to come out at the last minute and then show us the boom, of him transforming into that deity, and then we don't hear anything else from him. That's a great character that you could have turned into like a Hulu series, because once he disappeared, we don't know what happened to him. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, then they need to just make something that just says New 52 and just have it be straight Suicide Squad on that.
Yeah,
I mean, I know there was a rumor about them coming out with a Suicide Squad 2, but then
they are. I think they are. Yeah.
They are. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're coming up with a sequel.
Let's hope, and I really want. I think they just say just okay.
Because Suicide Squad could be a good movie. It just has to be rated R.
Yes.
Don't plan to sell any toys. All right. Plan to make this, because it's like Deadpool. Do you think they plan to sell toys with Deadpool?
Not really.
Maybe to us, like novelty items to us, but not to kids. That movie was not for kids.
I've seen the cutest little baby Deadpools running around though,
and that's adorable. It's adorable, but that movie was not for kids.
It's like when you catch your little kid twerking and you're like, you dancing, but no, you need to stop. No.
There was so many references to masturbation. I was like, this movie it's an amazing movie. I loved it, but this is not. And that's what they need to do with freaking Suicide Squad. It's not for kids. There needs to be it needs to be like the Suicide Squad. They need to do a movie like what's in it? Like Die Hard. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like something where they go in there and there's a lot of killing, there's a lot of destruction, and somehow they make it in the end. Because that's what they do. When they go in there, you send them in there because you don't want no one to know that you even are part of this whole scenario. They do the dirty work. Have them do some dirty work. Have them do something that you don't want the U.S. government to be associated with at all. You see what I'm saying?
Right, but also
Amanda Waller is the type of girl that'll send them to do that shit. So.
But I think also too, if they make it like that, like in Sin City, how they had like the blood and gore sequences.
Yeah.
I think that they need to do that because for one, that would separate, all the different DC movies. Yeah. And for people that are going to be into more of the darker, real type things, I think it would be great. But they need to have a sequence similar to, or that style of sequence similar to like the Sin City movies, where it was just like, see the blood splatter. And I don't want to reference Kill Bill, but Kill Bill was like,
but on that level, here's what it is. I think the problem is that they sent the bad guys to rescue, to save people. They should have sent the bad guy to destroy something.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what
this like, instead of the mission being like, oh, we want you guys to go save, it should have been like, all right, this group is rising up. We need them to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that needs to, the whole premise of the movie needs to be like, these guys are going to do something very villainous. Mm-hmm. And if they succeed, that's what the point of the movie is.
Right.
I at least that's my pitch, but whatever. Anyways.
I'm running the same wavelength because, I felt like that they weren't villainous enough,
Yeah.
Only way, that's how it sticks out of my mind is, well, let them do the blood and gore and, like, really just, you see.
I want to see some casualties. Like, they should not care about casualties. You know what I'm saying? Right. They should not care at all about casualties. But it's all good. Anyways, I think we got enough time. We keeping these episodes short now.
Yes.
So that's good. But next time we'll talk about some more stuff. In the meantime, watch Stranger Things, man.
I am. And you watch Zodiac Wars.
I'm gonna watch it. I got it on my anime list. Okay. But quick animes. What are you watching? You watching Zodiac Wars? What else?
I'm also watching Chrono's Beautiful Journey. With A Beautiful Journey of the World. That one's good. It's a very lighthearted, but it has some serious notes to it as well. Makes you think and appreciate things. I'm also watching Black Clover because, for people that like Naruto, the people that made Naruto made Black Clover, and I was just like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. And honestly, it seems similar, but, going more off of the Meiji type thing, I think that it's actually going to be pretty successful. If you watch the sub version, a lot of people are getting pushed back by one of the main characters' voice actors. But, if you want to have, like, that rawness, I think it plays out. You just got to keep watching the rest of the episodes. The first couple episodes, you're going to be like, what the hell am I hearing?
Gotcha.
So that's one of that. And also Ruby. The 5th season of Ruby is out.
See, we started watching Ruby, but we didn't catch up. We're like maybe in season 2 or 3 right now, so we got to catch up. Ruby's good, yo.
Hands down, Ruby. I was so eager about Ruby coming out, and it has not disappointed at all.
I've seen so many Ruby cosplays when we go to these Comic Cons. Like, and it's dope every time. They got like the big ass scythe. I'm like, beautiful. Yes. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's what's up. I've been watching not a lot of anime, surprisingly enough. I went back and watched Fate Zero because it was one of my favorite versions of the Fate things. So like Fate Zero was the shit to me. Even though I didn't like the way it ended, But anyways, let's move on. I'm watching that. Anime, I started watching Gundam 00 because one of my friends was telling me to watch it. So I checked that out. That's pretty good. Now I watched The Runaways on Hulu. It just recently came out. It's a Marvel teenage show, and it's
I think I saw a commercial for that. Yeah, is it good? Is it really good?
It's really good.
Okay.
Like, you will not stop after the first episode. Just know that.
Okay.
And you will not stop. I don't want to ruin anything for you guys, so I won't tell you anything about it, except that it's a teenage Marvel show, and it's brilliant. So we watched that. We watched also Netflix just came out with She's Gotta Have It, the show version instead of the movie from Spike Lee. And it's honestly, so far, I'm loving this year because this year has had so many good ass Black shows and Black content. Like Dear White People, the Netflix series came out this year and it was brilliant. This came out and was that?
the movie, like Dear White, or not the little thing about Dear White People, like, which, you know, I want to touch on that. For people that haven't seen it, go see it. And I can tell you that don't get caught up in the name. You gotta go see it. You know, more
and you know what?
people love that than
you know what's funny? When it first came out, when the first movie was coming out, a lot of white folks on YouTube was all like, I don't know, why would you even make something called Dear White People? I mean, this is exactly the divisive content out here that, like, we're not even okay with. I mean, like, and I'm like, guys, relax. Mm-hmm. And when I went and saw it, I was like, this is good. Everybody should see this. And if you listen to the guy, I think his name is Justin, I forgot his last name, but you listen to the writer and the content, the show director, the pusher, and he says it. It's a misnomer. It's not about white people at all. But, like, you know, because they see it, because they, you know, they just jump on it. It's like, trust me, watch the first, second, third episode. It's a brilliantly written, directed, acted show. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. She's got to have it. If we only watch like the first 2 or 3 episodes so far, equally as brilliant. I'm loving the different style. It has very much a Spike Lee print on there. Like, for example, he likes to show images. Yeah. Spike Lee really likes to show images. So we'll be watching a sequence, and then they'll play like a song, like between the sheets. And then after the end of the scene, boom, they'll show you the cover of the album. And then it'll move on. It's just some really dope stuff like that. So that's the last thing that I watched that I thought was really dope. And that and The Runaways. Those are like my recommendations. But anyways, that's it. We run up the clock. It's time to get the heck out of here. Yes. And meet next week for another episode, exciting episode of Attack of the Blerds. I'm out. Santana.
And see you guys later. And definitely check out us on social media. We have YouTube page, Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, Twitter. Follow us if you have any suggestions of what you would like us to review or touch on or watch. Or if you are an artist or know an upcoming artist, even if it's actor or whatnot, hit us up.
Oh, yeah. You want to be a guest on the show? Come through. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Seriously. It would be nice, and also to get you some extra exposure, too. So, see you guys later. Stay awesome.
Peace.